Hi all, welcome back to Good Ads Matter Roundtable. I'm Suresh Eriyat, founder, director of Studio Eeksaurus. I'm sure today the Indian advertising industry's post-production will be in a standstill situation because 1% of the hardcore post-production people, talent is here. And very difficult to find all of you in the daytime because that's probably what I presume that even now the nocturnal work is still prevalent in post-production. So today we'll be discussing, debating, fight, rant about the landscape of Indian advertising. Abhro, will start with you. National award-winning editor with over 15 years of experience across feature films, documentaries and advertising. A 2017 Berlinale talent. His work is celebrated for its stylistic diversity and innovative storytelling, including the award-winning If Memory Serves Me Right and ad campaigns for major brands like Times of India and Cred. Anything I missed out, Abhro?
No, this is the highlights.
Or kuch add karna to you can
talk
go
about
it and add.
I can ask questions over your questions, right?
Yeah, you can.
I can ask questions over your questions.
Yeah. You can. But
And
this
your
is
national award was for?
This is a documentary directed by Rafiq Ilyas. So, yeah, when I came to Bombay, Rafiq was the first director I worked with on a project which Shweta was working on.
Oh, okay.
This is Rafiq Gangji. No.
No, Rafiq Ilyas is a
I
photographer.
love it when lines blur like that.
Yeah. So
You knew about this?
he told me later.
So, yeah, actually my career started with documentary. I mean, that's where I was. I mean, documentary, what they call creative documentary, from unscripted material, and essay films, experimental, and also fiction. That's where I was. I mean, majorly festival hopping films and stuff like that. Very rarely I was doing ads. I mean, only with people who were doing, I was doing other things with them, and if they did something, I was on it. But very early in my career, I was, to make ends meet, I was also doing a lot of ads, BTS, and I was quite good at it.
But
because
shooting and editing?
No, not shooting. I mean, friends who were struggling, they were shooting, they were trying to get into the ad industry. They're probably trying to do it like, do the BTS and then do something smaller than whatever comes. So I was with them, and I was enjoying cutting BTS because that's also kind of in the documentary spirit. I was cutting it a little differently with more like a story with a fictional spirit in it than just interviews, graphics, etc. It was more a candid flow and moment creation, etc. So yeah, that's how I was initially connected to ads, and people in working with ad knew me through that and was getting some work there. But I was majorly busy with the other thing that I thought I was more useful for. I think during COVID, suddenly things changed.
For the good For the good or bad?
I don't know, I don't judge it, but it's helping me in a different way because there was a time when I was doing all this very low budget ventures, and to be able to make ends meet, I was doing this kind of commercial thing. So it was like, I have to do it to cross-subsidize what I really intensely enjoy. And that makes, also I'm putting in a whole lot of hours in a day, like 16, 18 hours. And I was young and it used to give me a high that, okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. This schizophrenic range. So used to feel good about it. But as I think I grew older, and it's like your body starts talking back to you and you decide what to do, how you manage. So the COVID year, I did the most amount of ads. I think that happened because a lot of ads were being created which has less control over material generation. Was being shot remote. The directors didn't have enough control on that. A lot of material was freewheeling, shot by the subjects.
A lot of creative stuff as well.
Very interesting things were happening. So those were coming to me because it was more in the spirit of, again, I mean, much less determined, predetermined situation with the rushes. You're coming up with things, new ideas, I mean, almost at times absolutely original ideas that hadn't been thought about at the edit table. So probably it needed people like us who were in documentaries and stuff. So I did a lot of those work and gave me some visibility. And then, of course, collaborating with Ayappa. I started working with Ayappa on a documentary first. Kunde we did first. And then Ayappa started working with me on ads as well. And Ayappa is a kind of a person who loves everything. I mean, passionately observes and follows and enjoys all kind of formats, which is fantastic. I mean, which gives starting from memes to very serious documentaries and stuff. And there was this Budweiser ad with Siddharth Chaturvedi. I mean, he got his old show reels in the short material and stuff, and we had to do kind of that's again was a huge amount of footage, and you play around with it. That ad, and then Jindal, this also kind of gave me a kind of a visibility.
Jindal is also very nice.
Yeah.
Let's move to Jayant. Yeah. Jayant Hadke, Hadke kaam hai pura. With over 20 years of experience in the media industry, Jayant Hadke is the co-founder and creative head of famous House of Artists, FHOA, renowned for pioneering VFX, tabletop videography and virtual production in India. He has contributed to over 2,000 commercials and multiple award-winning films.
2,000.
Jayant's expertise spans global collaborations, groundbreaking work in Unreal Engine for projects like Animal, and over 100 commercials. He remained committed to innovation, talent development and advancing VFX applications across advertising and cinema. Is this enough or? Crazy.
You should just say
इसके आगे हमारा काम कुछ दिखेगा नहीं.
Crazy, yeah.
No, actually, I was in fact lucky to enter industry when everything was moving from analog to digital.
Right.
And I think with Sally sir, and we were the first one who actually started working on online.
Correct.
And it was crazy.
No, but you were always very heavily into, when we used to do online also, we used to work with you whenever it was very intensive in terms of
Complicated stuff.
Complicated stuff. So, just go to Jayant, and I think it just extended to some other space.
No, I think in the initial years, I was lucky to work with very good directors like Shubir, Nomita, Ravi Udyawar and all these guys. So I think that initial base was so strong that it helped me later on to figure out what to do in life. And across 25, I started in 99, 2024.
Same,
yeah. So for so many years, been innovating, trying to figure out, trying to be in the industry, trying to innovate things. That is where all these things came. Like tabletop, Unreal Engine, everything.
Lovely. Vaibhav More, founder of Vaibhav More Films, graduated from the esteemed Sir J.J.'s Institute of Applied Art in Mumbai and went on to bring home 21 plus national and international awards, including Promax, BDA, Asia Honours. Amazing. Known for campaigns like Coca-Cola's Real Magic of Pujo and Vodafone's Zoomy Christmas, his innovative work spans major brands and networks like MTV, Disney and Sony. Vaibhav's passion lies in exploring diverse animation styles and mediums as he continues to inspire future creators through seminars, workshops and festival jury roles. Amazing.
Done, I think. I don't need to speak.
Huh?
You already said everything.
Number of films or something you want to add? Like everyone is adding.
I have not kept count of number of films.
No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. If you want to just add.
Oh, so basically my my JJ School of Art degree, I always thought that I'm one of the, I'm the chosen one out of 3,500, only 105 are selected every year with, proper entrance exams. So and I got scholarship for 2 years.
Wow.
So I was on the top 5 academically. And by the time I reached my 3rd year, I flunked in 4th year. So my graph went down. But I was still in the assumption that coming from JJ School of Art, I'll probably have a lot of opportunities when I come out. And then studying advertising professionally, I always thought advertising would be an easy piece of cake. I might join in as a visualizer or a junior visualizer, or I might get into graphics. Computers were just coming in because I passed out in 1999. And so we were doing all these small courses. I don't want to name any academy.
You've been very active in all those areas also.
Yeah.
I know.
And then when I passed out, I was carrying this big portfolio, walking into agencies and other places, and then I realized that they don't appreciate your anatomy study, or they don't appreciate your, अरे मैंने ये concept तो देखा हुआ है, तुमने क्या नया किया इसमें? And since we had no software portfolio, like we will have little bit of Photoshop kind of thing. So that's when the reality struck, and I realized that you need to do something different. Luckily in the campus we have this annual exhibition. So by the time I reached 5th year, I was already very depressed. I don't know what I'm going to do, because I did these small internship jobs, which did not feed me well. So I put up this small little storyboard, like something that I could afford, like a color printout at that time was 120 rupees for a A4 size. So I could only afford that much.
Things have become cheaper now. Huh?
It's become cheaper. Yeah. Fortunately for me, I feel Cyrus Oshida from MTV walked in the first day, and the annual exhibitions is something like we really, udhar tum collar upar kar sakte. If you get selected in like all these agency guys would come and put their tags on, like I want this guy as an intern. So,
Swayamvar.
It's kind of a swayamvar. So I was really lucky that somehow Cyrus Oshida, I don't know how many of you know, but
we know.
Yeah, everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
So Cyrus, my godfather, like he came and he just saw something and he called me, because I was sitting in the canteen. I was not standing next to my portfolio. So he said, "Kaun hai, isko bulao." So one guy came running in the canteen, and I was sitting and smoking my friend's cigarette. I couldn't afford one, so we used to share all the cigarettes. The one guy came and said, "Hey, Cyrus from MTV is calling me." So I said, "नहीं यार, तुम मेरे को बकरा बना रहा है." MTV Bakra was very famous at that. And then the other guy came. And then one of my close friends came. "तू क्या कर रहा है?" So he said, "He's really looking forward to meet you." So I went there and he's like, hey, "You did this? अच्छा. तो animation क्यों नहीं किया इसका?" So I said, "I don't know the softwares as much." He said, "No, you don't need softwares, yeah. You've seen those Kapil Dev flip books, like those. Why don't you just draw a few more frames and you just flip it? I'll shoot it for you." Something like that he said. And so it's like an eye-opener, like, I was giving reasons for not doing things. And this guy just told me, like, you can shoot it. And then fortunately for me, there was a sister company, like he was co-director with that also. He told me, "Why don't you join that and then you freelance for MTV?" So MTV was on the first floor in Film Center, and on the second floor was Future Thought Productions. So that's where my journey started.
Okay.
So I was doing e-cards, and then I started learning animation, and then my core interest of drawing again kicked in, and I started doing storyboards, animatics for advertising agencies. And that's when the journey started.
Super.
So yeah.
Great.
And since then I'm doing my animations for various clients. Try to be different using basic medium. Always inspired by you and Vaibhav Kumresh and Dhiman Dada. So I'm just trying to be somewhere behind the lines.
Lovely. No, amazing stuff you're doing. Navin Shetty. Navin, my God. Navin Shetty, founder and senior colorist at Nube Studio, has over 25 years of experience in the post-production industry with an impressive portfolio of more than 10,000 TV commercials.
When was the last time you took a vacation?
I'll take a regular one now.
10,000 TV commercials. That's crazy.
Impressive.
A specialist in color grading, he continues to transform India's post-production landscape with his approach. Not just commercials, but also feature films, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And also producing.
Yeah. I know. Amazing. A lot of respect, Navin. Yeah.
Yeah, my journey started in 96, I think. Yeah, my uncle used to own a lab called Ad Labs. And I came with a lot of pride. CEO banega type mein. My uncle, he sent me to the processing lab. Straight said that you need to learn from there. And that's where it started off. In not a good terms, basically, because you come with a lot of expectations, direction karega. I know you're half knowledge, basically. That's how the processing things. I have the privilege to learn analog, processing, chemicals, because they're the people working. They used to teach me, because I was nephew to him, so ek special treatment milta tha. But at some point, it becomes so used to that, "Arey, ye to bhanja hai, kuch nahi karega." So that phase comes up and you get overshadowed by those...
Nepotism, yeah.
Nepotism, yeah. Nepotism is bad way.
Other side.
So then, over the period, I joined Mukta Arts, Telecine, and then Prime Focus took over the place. And then again, Prime Focus was like, a
Same
bad
side.
track. I used to go to my uncle and say that, oh, these people are not giving me this job. And one day Namit calls me to his room and says, हम लोग यहाँ उसमें करोड़ों की बातें हैं और बात किसका करते हैं तेरा. So it was so embarrassing for me, and I said that sorry. And from that day onwards, I stopped going to him and saying about it. And then I left 2007, Prime Focus, joined Prasad, and whichever studio I used to join used to shut down or probably.
That was a good
So
strategy.
ऐसा हो रहा था, so then I was a little confused कि what's happening like. So 2015 is where I started Nube, and it was a boutique studio. And I had a lot of support of all the cinematographers, full support of them, and many were committed also, and many which I didn't expect they will be with me, and they supported me, and we are doing really good in commercials.
Amazing.
People look at you very differently once the film get released, and
It's a
they
hit,
start looking at your capability and things. Then joining Pixian, you come with that baggage of, I had done Calling Karthik also at that time.
Right.
That was one film, that's the reason Pixian took me. But Pixian again, some Mawa channel shut down. So they had some sort of a disaster happening, and commercial was a place which was running. But again, at that time, we had that perception that it was a white skin, colorists who are white skin were only allowed to get into that. But then it was Kakkad who started working with me first. Kakkad and Sujat.
Vivek Kakkar.
Vivek Kakkad and Sujat. That's how my entry to the advertising started. And then Ayappa, Vinil, Nikhil Rao.
Correct, yeah.
So after that, 2017 is where I did Badai Ho, Amit Sharma's feature, which Sanu was a DOP. And then Loot Case, Rajesh Krishnan's. And then Raw, which was Tapan, which is.
Yeah.
But before that, Kahani was also there, Kahani 2. So then I got the hitch of it. Then we thought of starting a studio ourselves. So that's how Nube series started. And today we are balancing both the studios, kept it separately,
Correct,
different management, and things are running good.
Beautiful. Yeah. Prakash Kurup, co-founder and creative head of Prime Focus, brings over 3 decades of experience in editing, direction, and visual storytelling. Renowned for his contributions to advertising and VFX-heavy films like Brahmastra, his work has earned accolades such as Cannes Lion, AdFest, and Smoke Artist of the Year, and many others. Renowned for blending technical expertise with creative innovation, he has made a lasting impact on visual storytelling. Amazing.
Yes, marketing team's written this. Yeah.
Crazy
I mean,
story.
I've been Prime Focus from day one. 30 years now, I think 31. And like he mentioned.
Yeah, you're the founder of Prime Focus.
Namit was a student,
Yeah.
And I have this intense love for 2D animation. And I was teaching, at least that's what I thought I was. And Namit was one of the students. And I had my colleagues, Mohsin and Huzaifa. The 3 of us were his instructors.
Right.
And then soon the student became a boss, he kind of took us aside. And then in a garage, it's a typical garage where we began. And just, to add to what he's saying, Namit's leadership, what he actually does is he just picks you up and throws you in all the waters available. There have been instances where I can sketch a bit. So I have boarded and then I edited that. And then I could online that, and then supervise grading and everything. So, Namit does that. Namit just gives you that leeway. So it's just been, don't want to say much, but it's just been 30 years of not getting bored even a single minute.
Fantastic.
There's always something to look forward to.
Yeah.
You guys should wish me luck and us luck that we are trying to make a Ramayana,
Wow.
Yeah, and
I think so. He gives the confidence also, that freedom and the confidence.
Yeah. So it's just been.
It's like a playground, basically.
It's
It's
just
like a
fun.
complete
So even
playground,
if you had to sit across 100 pages of fonts just to look for a single font, it's fun.
Yeah.
Those kind of things.
It's
Yeah.
actually a trip to go through these fonts
It is. And a lot of MTV also came my way, so that helped, Cyrus and his group of producers. Why MTV especially is because, the producers, so to speak, they are not producers in the quintessential way. They are like people who have an idea and some budget, and then they come and they make your non-stop hits and, one tight slap.
By the way, Ayappa was also in
Yeah,
MTV as a copywriter.
Yeah. And then via MTV, Ayappa came into the scenario, and it was great working with him as well over a lot of campaigns. So yeah, basically having fun. Yeah, I love to edit.
Lovely journey.
Yeah.
So I still remember when I used to edit, Ayappa used to come and sit behind to see how online is done. For days I used to wonder, he's a copywriter from
curious,
MTV. Yeah, he was very curious. He used to come and sit. I said, who's he? Okay.
Yeah.
Shweta Venkat. Shweta Venkat is a distinguished editor with over a decade of experience. More than a decade.
Yeah, 20.
20, yeah, 2 decades of experience. That's what I was wondering. Is the dynamite behind films like Gangs of Wasseypur, Newton and Hitchcock, as well as impactful ad campaigns for brands like Tanishq, An Academy and Amazon Prime Video. After graduating from FTII, she began her career as an assistant to Sally himself. Sitting right here. For Shweta, editing is an instinctive process, shaped by experience and an understanding of emotions. Her philosophy reflects a deep commitment to storytelling, driven by intuition, discipline, and a nuanced understanding of cinematic language.
I like some.
Amazing.
Whoever's written it as well.
Beautiful. And there's such few female editors in India, right?
Actually, right now there are a lot. And it's I mean, maybe 20 years back.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, I'm talking about 20.
20 years back, I know. I mean, when I began editing with Sally, there were hardly what?
I think two,
three in advertising.
Now there are lots of.
No,
Now
but even
there
in the
are-
feature
yeah,
space also, there were
Yeah.
very
I mean, a lot of things have changed in the past
right.
few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a journey. Gangs of Wasseypur and what styles of editing.
So no,
Shweta.
I don't think many. I just remembered when Navin was telling us his story, that I was an assistant to Paul Byrne, the colorist in Famous Studios. So I I was responsible for loading the negative and because that time telecine used to
The
happen.
telecine.
So I was assisting him for.
Right, yeah.
Years.
Patil. So I was an assistant to Paul for about 4 months.
Okay.
Then I went back to my course. I was still doing my course. Then I got a call. And then I was wanting to become an editor or whatever. And USL and Prime Focus were the
Correct.
two
Those were the
studios.
big places,
I got a call from Prime Focus. And I was very excited.
I like how I get.
I'm just saying.
I'm attacked in Dolby.
So I went for the interview. There was Johan and Namit.
Oh.
Yeah, and they interviewed me, and at the end of the interview, I realized that they were interviewing me to be an assistant colorist again.
Okay.
I said, no, but I thought, for an editor, we've got enough editors. I don't think we want more colorists. I said, no, not happening. And then Sally gave me the opportunity to be his assistant.
Kawal.
And 3 months into being his assistant, he said he is moving studios. But then he gave me the best advice of my life, saying that you stay where you are, you learn the ropes, and you continue doing and build your clientele.
Right.
So that's how I started doing advertising. Then went into Pixian. Pixian was hiring left, right, center. Then got absorbed and stayed there for about 7 years.
Correct. Yeah.
And then moved on to long format.
Amazing. Sally, so many. You're like a school only,
No, I'm not a school.
I'll read about you. Sally Shyam Salgaonkar.
People always call me Sally.
Sally, yeah. Sally.
That's because thanks to Shyam Ramanna.
Oh, okay.
Crest.
Yes, yeah.
He nicknamed you Sally.
Yeah, I was his blue-eyed boy, and a lot of phone calls my friends used to call and sab gali bili deke baat karo, saying boss. And that time there was no phone, cell phones. So all call the operator Sham ko phone dena, they used to go to there. Shyam Ramanna. They're saying, boss, you are from Goa and and you are from Saligaon, from today onwards,
Sally.
everybody is going to call you Sally.
What?
So it came Sally. Everybody started. I forgot myself that people are calling me Sham. I never should react for them. Sally bole to हाँ बोल.
People used to think like a very beautiful blonde is sitting.
That always
take
happened.
bookings.
Yeah. With that time I had a heavy mustache also.
Yeah,
They are
yeah.
a disappointment. Sally.
Sally,
you.
founder of Sally Studios, another award-winning editor among us, with over 25 years of experience. He's celebrated for his work across ad films, feature films and promos. His accolades include a Dada Saheb Phalke Award, Cannes Silvers and Ad Club Honours. He combines creative direction with technical mastery, setting benchmarks in Indian advertising and film editing. Masterful, yeah.
I started off with my feature film only at the age of, meaning that time FTI, I never, meaning you need to be a graduate or something else. And to go there, it's not possible for me. So then I thought, Famous had one association over there, Films Editors Association. They said, why don't you go to that association and apply a form, and they will put you to a big directors and all, and you'll get a chance to work as an meaning as an assistant editor, basically assistant apprenticeship. So I got Manmohan Desai.
Oh, wow.
So that was a good luck, meaning the thing, and from there I started. My grandfather was a senior black and white developer. My dad was an editor for a Ramnot Research Laboratory, where they used to cut negatives. For them. Then I started, but he didn't want me to come in this line.
Right.
So I said, well, मेरे को तो आना है boss. So I used to go to college, and then Kirti College was there, and I used to go there. And daytime I used to bunk the college. I don't know whether I've passed 12th standard or not. So I started doing feature film. But somewhere down the line, I used to always feel, technology is changing.
Right.
And that time, Umatics, I don't know whether Umatic, but TV serials was happening. I used to wonder, यार ये लोग shorts कैसे join करते होंगे? दिखता तो कुछ है नहीं. So then I said, I want to learn that. Meaning technology is future thing and is going to grow. So then I met PL Raj's daughter. She said, Scan Video is a place where you can learn.
Okay.
So I went there. When I looked at all the equipments with Umatics, it's like one cockpit. ये तो जमेगा ना अपने से. So a lot of things, all those gears, dissolved levers and everything was there. So Jerry was there. He said, first thing you have to go behind the machine room and do all the cabling.
Connections, always,
But nowadays, all new generations, they want to sit on the machine, straight away on the computers and learn. But that was a good journey, meaning it's a fantastic way to learn. And obviously good directors like Prasoon, Prakash Verma.
There were a lot of films you
Dadu.
And I always feel, Arey, Sally, you are a good editor. I said, no, the good director make a good editor. That's the only thing, because the main hard work comes from them. We put out 10, 15% or 10% of it.
You're being very modest.
It's actually, they have been working with an agency, with the directors, and how much of brainstorming must be going through. But when it comes to us, I only look at first the rushes, whether you can understand the story by looking at the rushes. Script comes later. Then,
but that's a very important thing.
Then look at the script, and then whatever, if there is things are done, then I will do it. Others first put our thoughts over there, and then 10 plus 10 plus 20, so it goes,
He is being modest.
Absolutely.
No.
Have you cut films?
I have cut. I have cut on Steinbeck. I have cut in Movilla. I have done sound matching on that. Everything I did. That time it was like a labor work, meaning one assistant used to just rolling.
Correct.
Winding. That's the only thing which started off. So my first film was as an apprentice was Ganga Jamna Saraswati, which was super flop.
That's Amitabh Bachchan.
Amitabh Bachchan, Then the second one was
super flop. I tripped on that film.
Yeah, but they like
Pura crocodile leke.
But then
I still trip on it.
Then was Tufan, which was again a super flop.
वो भी अच्छा था.
But the fantastic experience what I got was 1971 Amrit Sagar did one film. 1947 Prisoners of War, which won a national award for that film. That was a fantastic experience. That was not a film. That came later into after doing all Blue and Trona and all this stuff.
Who was the director for that? 1947?
Amrit Sagar. It was a fantastic film. Then obviously Asian Paints, not Asian Paints, I'm talking about Happy Dent. That was again a superb film with Rams. Rams came with a storyboard, and the storyboard like exactly the way he shot it. You know, the storyboard, the framing and everything.
Brilliant.
It was superb experience. And on that grading, we didn't go to grade also. Online only we graded.
He never used to grade. Our mother never used to grade.
There's no. He said, "Sally, हम लोग इधर ही करेंगे."
I joined as an assistant when this was happening.
Happy Dent. Okay. So, yeah.
Yeah, and fantastic working with Prakash Verma is like every take you'll see a difference in it. Meaning you say there's some improvising is there, so you don't know whether first take to use or third take or last take. You have to watch all the things. You know, there is, and I also always tell him, you take 5, 6, 7, 8 takes, but which one to use? It's a bit difficult.
So he doesn't mark and give you.
No.
You were only like lovely.
That's all.
Siddharth Mir. Siddharth, director and senior colorist at Bridge Postworks, brings over 20 years of expertise in color grading, cinematography, and digital workflows. Known for projects like Jubilee and Monica, Oh My Darling, this passion for exploration mirrors his creative philosophy, crafting memorable and impactful experiences that stay with the audience long after the credits roll. Amazing.
Thank you. So I kind of got my start in advertising accidentally.
Right.
Doing actually an internship at Famous. That's why I met Jayant actually. With Sabu sir. So that's why I learned smoke.
Is it? Okay.
And then basically moved on to color.
Okay.
And then found, you know, like-minded collaborators, like people who I'm working with on independent film. When they're actually not doing independent film and when they're shooting commercials, that's when they actually call up and they bring a commercial to me. So it's basically completely accidental. I never started out thinking that I'd ever do any advertising. It was largely like geared everything towards doing like mostly independent film.
So you studied editing or something?
Studied cinematography and visual effects actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
From India or?
India and outside. So traveled to LA, Singapore and Germany. And Singapore, these 3 places. Did cinematography, motion graphics, color management, a couple of other things. But yeah, basically trying to figure out a path for myself because Bollywood wasn't really my calling. And largely all of the projects I've done have been like Bollywood adjacent and not really like the commercial masala stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, you maintain that somehow.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Sir, now we want to know about you.
Now, so I have never done, the only interview that I have done is with my father. He's now 95. And that's all about the ghosts encounters that he's had. That's a film that we made, which won the National Award last year. Not directed by me, another young girl, because it's my father. And I didn't want to really do anything with that because I wanted a perspective which is very neutral. And it became an animation film eventually. I had shot him, how he's so vivid with his explanation that, you know, I've seen a ghost, this particular ghost, it's a little elephant looking thing, but a pigtail, but it spits fire. So every vivid explanation. I say, he will tell me that I met him there near that temple at 2:30 in the morning, and, you know, with real proper, and till 40, I turned 50 last year, till 40 I used to really believe in it. At 40 I realized that this man is like a gem of a storyteller and I had to document him. Wow. And that's when I took this interview of him where on a phone I just talked to him and casually he would like really, I mean, he's too articulate and he would narrate the stories, and we created a film based on some 6 ghosts that he's seen. Why I'm talking about this is, I really, when I used to work at Famous, when we started Famous House of Animation long ago, there was a lot of work that used to happen in the night. And I want to know from all of you, does it happen even now? Sir, because a few times when I went to Navin's studio,
the footsteps.
I mean, I used to bang into because one door and there is another wall and then another door. So you just hit.
I heard about famous ghost
stories.
So
the ghosts are, encounters are, I think, when you work late in the night.
Absolutely.
I think you're bound to see a few of them or experience a few of them. So I wanted to know from all of you, what are your experiences, and is night work still very prevalent in post scene?
Of course. I'm guessing, yeah. People still do
Not that
17,
much
18
info.
hours. I don't know if you stopped because you said there was a time when you felt.
No, we still do 17, 18 hours. We still go.
Yeah, I mean, if you if that qualifies as night, I mean, 18 hours is still like. Yeah, I'm sure it does.
So we need to define what is a night.
I think
because
2:30 to 3 is when you encounter these things, generally in the morning. So
like working till
You're
late,
right.
like
I have a story.
These days I'm going to bed at that time.
huh?
These days I'm retiring at that time.
But I'm sure you, at some point, you would have experienced these
No,
things.
I didn't.
No?
I'm probably too much of a staunch non-believer, so I never encountered.
You don't
But
need
I
to
have
be. You
put
can
in
be a non-believer and
put-
alone if you're sitting and doing something.
Listen, I have encountered with the worst kind of folly.
Huh.
Okay.
Oh.
These are,
yeah.
I mean, the very cliched folly, and this happened. 4th floor, editing in prime focus, and it's around 2:30. I don't know how you figured that time.
2:33 is the time.
3 is the time.
Yeah, so exhausted. Like I said, I can't make sense of what I'm doing anymore in any case. So I had the light on, and I think I was the only one on the floor. And I hope this doesn't affect businesses, whatever. But I kid you not, okay, I was just about to lie down, and the worst folly is like chum chum. It's like it's happening from all the way from this staircase.
But it
and I can
happened
see
in,
it as
sorry, it happened in Prime Focus?
prime focus.
It happened with me in Famous.
The same lady was walking from
Maybe
Prime
she
Focus to US.
maybe could edit dena baki. I don't know what she's there for some masters. But
Happened in MTV.
yeah, I'm like, okay, like it's funny in many ways because it's also spooky and funny at the same time. Because why that sound? You know, could have
Correct,
been
yeah.
boots for all I care.
Yeah.
But it came and it ascending audio and it comes and stops outside my door. Okay. I'm not brave. So I just let that be on the other side.
Oh.
But yeah, these kind of a lot of things. Somebody else an editor went to the washroom, came back, and the empty chair turned towards him. So all of that. It's all fun. I think.
I think
Oh,
it,
yeah.
I
it
think it would have been
happens.
Amit or somebody outside.
I think it happens. Like I never ever believed in this kind of thing. But when VH1 was launched, I was one of the only graphic designers, and Madhvi Kote was the producer, and Rezi was one of the producers. So we all were working day and night, and I remember 2 weeks of sleepless nights, and we had launched the Shakira song on VH1. So there were huge posters of Shakira, that famous semi-nude poster. So working for 2 weeks continuously, like sleeping maybe on the chair or just lying down on the bed. One fine day, I thought I'll sleep on the floor. So I put those Shakira posters and put my denim jacket and
I mean, really?
went to sleep.
You went to sleep on the Shakira poster?
Yeah, many Shakiras. And the production guy so basically it was one single floor, VH1, MTV and Nickelodeon. They all were like, so I could hear Kishore Kumar songs happening, some production guy sitting there for the next day shoot.
It's better sound design, huh?
And just like sitting like this, and I've got this habit of moving my leg before I sleep. ऐसा करके सो रहा है. Suddenly my leg stops moving. I'm looking at my toe and I'm trying to get up. I couldn't get up. And then finally I said, chuck it here, I'm going to just lie down. And I could feel some kind of pressure. And suddenly I felt little relief. I just got up, took my cigarette pack and went into the reception. And I was like, sat in the reception, and the security guy, Jayesh Patange, he says, pakadla na? Sangat hoto, pakadla. So they all the night watchmen, no? So I'm sure it's basically a lot of work and a lot of stress, and then
No.
Maybe we are just
It's not that at all.
So it's like, pakadla na, pakadla. I'm like, pakadla.
Believe in it.
So then you start believing it.
Yeah.
But then still you don't give up your nights because you're still, madly in love with what you're doing. And
What
all
happened
that.
to the poster, I'm wondering?
What happened to the poster?
Happened to the
Multiple
Shakira
Shakira
poster?
posters.
Famous many people encountered, right?
Gave it to
we
my
never,
friends.
right? I don't know.
Yeah, famous.
No,
We
man,
used to work late in the
I
night.
could hear
Right,
only
right,
footstep,
yeah.
and I left the beta tape over there. I straight went down to that Shankar statue over there.
But sir,
That's a famous one.
famous stuff, footsteps are very famous. Huh?
Yeah,
I've
footstep
heard
only.
it from seniors to juniors, every.
Maybe we've been hearing to them, and so we
And
also
ऐसा
felt it.
रात को 2 बजे कोई एडिटर जा रहा है तो ऐसा जाएगा ना वो ठक 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 ठक. That is something scary at 2:30 at
You must be
No, मेरे को नहीं, I don't
because
know.
you were the
We
employee
used to
of
stay
there.
late in the night. Yeah,
वो आप ही रहेंगे.
No, you're a co-founder.
Even
true-
I used
I
to
know,
be
we-
there for like at least 11, 12 years.
और
I
रात
was
को सिर्फ
there,
सुरेश
but
दिखता था
I used
चलते
to-
हुए.
I used to be there. मैं दिखता था लोगों को. तो उसके लिए लग सकता है.
मैं था बाहर आता था सीरीज.
But to go back to what you were asking,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still, it's been a while since I cut any ad, but
In the night,
people
huh?
do shoot a lot, right? That's prevalent, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like you
Shooting,
have a
yeah.
truck ad, then they shoot
Correct,
for 14
correct.
hours and
Yeah,
then give you
yeah.
3 days. How do you escape but not do those days and
yeah,
nights?
yeah. True,
So
true,
there's
true.
a lot of material that
I think
comes.
earlier
correct.
when there was films, there was a less footage was there.
It's
Now,
still there.
45 minutes material.
Now-
You're cutting in
That's
30.
loads
now
of
for the
footage.
digital stuff like
Unlimited.
वो डेटा ट्रांसफर
it's
वाले
like-
ही पूरा बेचारा लेट नाइट तक इतना बैठना पड़ता
No,
है
but the
उनको.
thing is, you don't need to work late nights.
Correct.
You know, I think it's such a problematic thing. Now, we all end up doing it. But the thing is,
Yeah.
you don't need to do it, you know. And I think it's more infuriating when you know that you are the one sitting and, you know, working late nights while the agency's gone
Everyone
back
is
to
sleeping.
sleep,
Absolutely.
director's gone back to sleep,
Yes.
everybody's gone to the kids' annual day functions, and
Yeah.
you're sitting waiting for them to come.
Yeah, for approvals.
I
and
mean,
it's
something
bad
needs to-
planning, yeah.
You don't need
But
to
then
do
again,
it.
how do you like contradict it? Because advertising is always about deadline is yesterday. And
yeah,
all
that's
that
bad
kind of
planning
things.
only.
That's been there
That's-
for
That's been
right
there.
from
I
the
mean, it's like-
beginning.
That's bad planning only. No?
I mean, I got a call for an ad about a week back, and they said, "Ki we are shooting, but we are very short on time. Nothing new, but we need to give the master the next day. So you need to give us the edit, 90-second edit by next day morning by 11." I said, "Come on.
Wow.
There has to be some kind of a,
No, but
you
after
know."
that, the changes and everything.
What to that is
another
different. I
3
mean,
weeks
but if
still
it's
going on.
starting so low, then
So
what is the
it's
point,
like-
right? I
Yeah, it will release like 2 months later.
2 months later.
And unnecessarily, they send the pressure down like,
We are
the
the last
pipeline.
ones to
Yeah,
Because sometimes, nowadays it's become even more complicated. Sometimes you have like, recently in an ad shoot, we had like 45 people when I was directing. So there is 20 people from the agency and another 15, 20 from the client. And it was the first time the agency was working for that particular client because they just backed that thing. So everybody was on one. So you generally keep a editor on the spot editor. And so they'll ask, why are you shooting that? Don't you need to shoot this?
Yeah.
And so it becomes like pretty, so then
Intrusive.
spot editor only kind of, they will go and check out. That's only for their education. Spot editing happens.
I'll add to what he is saying. Once I remember, first week of 31st December, 30th
Right.
and 31st December, I had to do a Rexona commercial. It was like a hidden camera kind of a scenario, whatever. So it's shot inside an elevator. I'll just fast forward to the main thing. We have to put it, we had to edit it for an international launch.
Okay.
It was meant to get out in the first week of Jan. Okay, so 31st, there was just me, my assistant, the director and his assistant, nobody else, no pantry, no staff, nothing, working. Got some flack in the house, you're not even there. Do you know when it released? December the following year.
Oh man.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, a year later. So, but there's no, I mean, what can she or anybody say that? If they make you feel like the deadlines are, and it's not like it doesn't come out. Sometimes it does.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah,
someone gives an 8 hours worth of material, technically you would need 16 hours to watch it.
Watch it, yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
at
Yeah.
least with sensibility.
Yeah.
No, and
Yeah.
but now even assistant directors and there is no okay takes marked. There are very few like Ramesh Dev production, RDP you will get the
Marked.
Abhinay marks it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, the best, very good, use this.
But then again, we all must have gone through it, like, because we do all these soft drink commercials. I'm sure everybody has done soft drink commercials, and they have bottlers conference coming up in January, and
Have you ever encountered that? I don't know. There was this phase when people used to make films for cans, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
done lots.
End up
Award.
yeah, you end up editing about close to 12 to 14 ad films a day.
exactly.
Just because so cans ko jana, dikhana, I mean that's
Case
happened.
studies and all those
That's
things.
like
yeah.
unavoidable, because every year there is a bottlers conference, every year there is a Cannes and a Promax happening for
Yeah.
promos, and they all want to rush into
Yeah.
putting their submissions.
Yeah.
So, those are the days when you actually end up doing late nights. But yes, I don't think that culture should be carried forward.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying this nocturnal beings, post being a very nocturnal activity, is something that taken for granted, that you do everything in proper light, but leave it to the post people to handle it, editing till the
they
end.
expect some magic to happen by morning when they reach the editing studio.
Yeah.
Like, "Aaj kuch kiya kya?"
No, comes back to the next question, which we'll do it in post. Is something that we often hear in the shoot, and even DOPs nowadays resort to saying, "To post mein kar lenge," so no need to clean it up, and that all the cleaning up has this whole trend, which has been there for I think now 15-20 years. Has it really been a boon for the VFX industry that there is so much of
initially it was. Now I think it's reducing. Now it's not. Because now the technology also is moving so fast. You can do match move and tracks and faster. So I don't.
The
work
comes,
which was
but it is easier to handle.
Earlier it used to be like 8 hours, 7 hours. Now you can do it in 2-3 hours. And you can do
No.
it.
The fact of the matter is, there's still the
carelessness.
The carelessness of shoot. And
that
okay.
is
Let it be handled.
Because at shoot also, I think a lot of time they don't have time. They have to run against time. So this much can be manageable, can be done. So move on.
The only thing I get frustrated is, I've been to shoots or a director or a producer has told us after the shoot that aisa shoot kiya, and we have told them that it will be done in post. You'll be able to do it. So my question is always, why don't you at least get a VFX supervisor on the set? He won't eat all your lunch. Just keep him somewhere in the corner to at least see whether. So that is something that I don't like.
But actually there's a problem. Even if you have a VFX supervisor, he'll never get a chance to even go and speak, because we've sent so many VFX supervisors. Sir, ye change karo. Abhi time nahi hai. There's a celebrity, there's no way. So I'm saying this whole VFX supervisor thing is actually just someone sitting and eating.
I always tell them, boss, it's a waste of time. Meaning you don't call on the set for an edit. It's not an edit, it's just compiling the shots.
That's for the agency and the client. You have your
to appease them,
to piece them up. That's all.
Like now they don't even say post mein fix kar lenge. They said Anna sambalega, Chitna sambalega. It's not even post. It's it's taken for granted. Which is like
I'll answer that a little more specifically. Is it good for the VFX guys or the online people? Yes, it is. But then there's also always a budget fixed. Okay.
Yeah,
and if you say if you had 10 shots to do, but now you're bringing 15
20
or 17, in that.
But ads after they've shot, they come up with that thing. Kitna time lagega.
Things happen. Even if
feature is a more dangerous thing because it's a script being shared. And then said that abhi batao kya hai. We'll say that VFX markers dalo. So we'll do that. Shoot kuch opposite ही हुआ है.
Correct.
अरे तुमने तो उतना बोला था. अरे हम लोग ने ballpark बोला था. नहीं तुमने इतना. That sort of.
Again, there's one more thing. Like I mean, it's very subjective to discuss, but still, when they give you a brief, they're like 30-second का है. Master 30 second का ही होगा.
45.
But they don't tell you there's a director's cut which is 65 seconds. थोड़ा 2-3 shot है, थोड़ा कर देना. So that's also like So that's also there where we end up doing extra work.
No, but when it comes to editing and telling the story in the ad, post mein kar lenge gives us, I mean, for me at least, a little bit of freedom to try things, because I know this will be taken care of in a DI or maybe VFX. So that gives you a little bit more freedom to play with the kind of edit you want to do.
That you have,
So I think in a way it's good, and in a way that it's going the right hand in the right hands, the right department, wherever, and that's going to be taken care of. It might not be true in features or long format. That might not happen.
So in ads at least it's very relevant to have.
It's a shorter burst, right? 30-40 seconds.
Correct.
So things can be taken care of.
This is a very sensitive question I want to ask you. I mean, there is so much of artistry, creativity in all the work that all of us are doing, but many a time they call you a technician versus an artist. How do you react to that, and what would you prefer to be known as an artist or a technician?
No, I normally tell everybody he's an artist.
Right.
I never say he's a technician, because he's an artist.
Absolutely.
Technician who do repairs, he may be a technician.
Correct.
Because it's a respect for.
It's a respect for the work that you're
what
doing.
He's doing.
Right.
So I like.
When you post a film, once you finish one, and then they call you, sir, we're putting your name, whatever. So I said, please don't say offline, so and so. Just call it editor. Someone's edited it. Offline is the medium via which you are putting some shots together.
So we say offline artist, online artist.
If she edits, she's an editor.
Right.
You know.
Right.
You pay me money, call me anything. Technician, artist, whatever.
Yeah.
No?
But
Yeah.
truly, artists for sure.
For sure, no, because I think it's a creative artistry that all of us, and you know, you bring so much onto the table.
But
that,
it depends from where it comes from.
right.
You know, who's the person who's telling you this? People say you're legend, this. I come to know from where it's coming from. So ignore that.
Right.
And as she said, whoever pays you money, that's more important for us.
So that is
Technician,
legend is
artist.
used as a negotiation.
So
thing,
yeah,
is
it is as a like a next free job also. You never know.
Oh
you know.
wow, it got deep this one. Huh?
Yeah.
It can be.
Yeah.
You never
Call
know.
me a technician and just pay.
It doesn't matter to me. You know.
Sid is smiling the most.
What do you
Internalizing.
think good about this?
No, I mean, for me, honestly, it doesn't matter. But there was this very interesting discussion when it came to the awards categories for us, like whether color deserves like an academy category.
Right.
And there was someone who said something very nicely, that we're essentially designers. We're not on the level of, say, a cinematographer, but we're basically helping them, you know, complete their vision. And that's why he argued that we shouldn't really have a category for color for the academy, which I mean I kind of agree with, because we are really embellishing the work that the cinematographer, production designer, costume designer, they're all doing on set.
This brings me to another question. I think I'll ask you, Vaibhav, because you're in animation. There is a lot of confusion amongst directors and producers and many crew, even DOPs and other creative in charges. The difference between animation and VFX, there's always and they think it's a very thin line. What do you have to talk about that?
Yeah, see, my studio, probably one of the smallest studios here, only 4 people working and bunch of freelancers. And of course, I call all my colleagues who are working, they are artists. And we started as an animation studio because, of course, first love is animation. But working as a promo producer with MTV, I understood the technical requirements of the other part of the, besides animation. So getting into VFX was somebody calling us saying, you do animation, but can you fix this frame also? And that's when the VFX started. So for me, VFX is like trying out softwares and trying to fix the frames, and slowly we graduated into working for Prasun Pandey, then working for Vijay Savanji, and now we are like in a space where I especially get projects which are mixed with animation
And VFX.
and that includes VFX. So I'm blessed to be in that space where I use VFX like a art form. Like I'm doing a kung fu hustle kind of VFX.
Yeah, it's very important because chromas and all that.
Yeah.
because,
So
so many people lose the perspective. Chroma kaisa rehna chahiye. You know, distance, out focus, focal length, which lens. So probably his study of animation really helps him out.
Yeah, because
in those factors.
I understand the silhouettes when you're on the shoot floor or you're designing a layout.
True.
You understand the silhouettes, how they work. You understand the lighting as an animator. You definitely understand lighting. So it kind of helps us. Even my entire team, like they're very good supervisors because they understand animation and the software lighting, how it works. So when they supervise something, it's much more beneficial.
Right. Okay.
So we are in that space where we are doing proper traditional animation. I was just telling him I did a paper cutout animation last week. Just drew like 500 frames and cut them off and did a stop motion randomly on phone and did it on a stop block frame. And then we touched up the frame also like VFX, but it's just like a small VFX. It's a desktop VFX. It's something that I feel I enjoy being called both as a VFX artist or whatever supervisor because it kind of opens a different avenue for me, you know. And I'm happy doing that. I actually don't have any complaints because when you're working with directors like Prasun, Vijay sir, fortunately, hopefully, Ayappa is my colleague. Someday he'll call me. Please call me Ayappa. So,
pitch also.
Yeah, उधर भी हो गया, pitch भी हो गया.
please यार बुला यार अपन दोनों साथ में काम किए. So, to work with these directors, whatever they call me, I don't care.
Right.
As long as they give me a liberty to execute something and try and utilize my whatever talent I have and explore it more, I think I'm in a very good space.
No, I was coming from a very different point of view. I was asking if like an animation is a different medium to tell stories, while all the others are an embellishment to make a film happen. From that point of view, I was asking you whether you see it as a medium of storytelling or like animation is needed in some places and stuff like that. That's a different deal.
Yeah. But see, animation for advertising, I feel, I'm sure like you're many years ahead of me, but still, animation for advertising is, I think, is a very special medium, should be treated like special medium of storytelling. Like for example, the Coca-Cola film that we did won a London International Award just for the animation. God knows what they understood about Durga Pujo and all that, but I think something connected in the form of animation with them.
Right.
So I think it's a very special, ageless medium.
But there's a synopsis which goes.
Yeah.
So they understand.
And even the making and everything is
Yeah.
But more than that, I think they go for the feel of what they, like. So I think it's a special, animation will always and should have a special place in advertising, because it's an ageless form, I feel, as compared to live action or even for that sake, VFX. So I think it will have a special place always.
Yeah.
And I would love to explore that medium. And I'm very happy to see that bigger brands now, thanks to people like you, Dhiman Dada and Vaibhav Kumresh, you guys are pushing the envelope so high that it's kind of little easier for us to, say that, we can do animation ad films. And with decent amount of budgets, I don't want to complain. Maybe we'll come back to that.
I mean, budget is another part. So this is a question very personal to all of you. What is that one project or an ad that you absolutely love talking about? Or it could also be a story where there is something that you've done but probably never saw the light of the day, or or an edit that you've done which is much better than what was taken, which must have happened so many times.
I think I had been lucky that way. I mean, I can't, of course, Jindal is one of my favorite, one of the favorites.
Right.
I think few more like that I really hold close to my heart. So yeah, there are many, and there are a couple of them which never saw the light of the day, and we thought, especially the director and me thought that it's great, and he didn't budge from that edit, and that project was taken away from us and edited somewhere else. But I have that cut in my reel and that kind of thing. And and reaching the director's cut, it's very exciting process. And after that, what happens?
It's another exciting process.
You
don't know what
that's
happens.
like we make a great film. I mean, really professionally invests ourselves there, and then again invests ourselves more professionally to ruin it. So
correct. That also happens.
I have, sorry, sir.
Jayant?
2 projects. One is Adidas, Ram Madhwani's.
Oh, the
36 cameras. And that was like the most difficult project. Sachin one. So we were working for almost 45 days on that, day in, day out. Parminder and we together. I didn't go home for 12 days.
Wow.
Because we had to align all the 36 cameras. It was done in offline, but in online, we had a system called Illusion, which was as big as a refrigerator. We used to need a key to put it on. And we worked day in, day out to align those cameras. And day of the presentation, the machine conked off. All my setups went away.
Oh, sure.
When Ram came. We got another 20 days to finish that, but that was the most toughest and the most difficult. But I'm very happy because now when I look back, it is one of the most iconic commercial at that time. Because I don't think anybody had done till that time something so different. And the other project is Amul. Amul commercial where the milk girl comes out of the glass. That was very interesting because in that film, the whole idea was the creative director had found one image of a drop which falls into a milk, and there's an image of a girl which is formed out of it. There's a single still image, low res GIF tha. And he said, this is the idea, we want to make a 30-seconder out of it. Most difficult because, again, we had 30 days to finish it because it's an animation film. We started the film. On day 20, we created a grayscale and showed it to the agency. The agency hated it. He said, what is this? This is not our idea. And we again had only 10-12 days to finish it, and we had to rework on that again and everything, and it was so difficult. I think it was 2011. Liquid simulation was so difficult.
Even today is difficult.
Even today it is difficult. And then what we achieved at that time was something.
So that's something that.
When I look at it, we did 5 series after that. Every Olympics they used the same commercial, but they kept on changing the sports. But I think that was something very different and iconic. I still remember it because that was the most challenging project for us.
Share it now again.
Yeah, it was there in the real life stream, so we're proud of it, of whatever we did on that.
For me, there were two things that I did, like because it's again bringing back the nostalgia. I don't know, like we all are from Fido, Dido generation, drawing the Fido character on our CCW books on the backside, or drawing it for your friends. So I had this opportunity to animate Fido a couple of years before for Vishwesh, for Corcoys. And somehow I wasn't happy with the character that I animated. So I told my team member that I'm not happy how it has been placed in the commercial. So I want to do a separate take of this. So I did a Fido loop animation and I put it on. I didn't even know what Instagram, how it works and all. So my teammate Praveen, he uploaded one Fido loop animation with some South Indian track. And I didn't know what is the power of this Instagram thing. Somehow it reached the agency, it surpassed the agency and reached the client, Pepsi. And they called me and they gave me like some 5 of those to do. So that was very nostalgic for me, that this is what something I used to draw when I was small, and now I'm getting paid to do all this nonsense animation, like making him wear lungi and making him do dandiya, that character. So that kind of, that is one thing that I really liked. And again, taking forward the legacy of Zuzu online. So Vaibhav Kumresh had done a lot of Zuzu and Zoomies ads. I was always a big fan of Zuzus. And then I got to do like some series of those, and they were already famous. And then I got
with
to
Verma,
So that was something that I thought that now I am also in the league now. I can also animate. So these are two things that I really liked. And then one first promo that I had completely animated promo, I had done it for Ayappa, for Microsoft Vista. Of course, the client had bombed it. Ye kya hai, animated Microsoft Vista launch ho raha, and this is like Bappi Lahiri dancing and getting kidnapped, and what is this? So that's what Ayappa's script. And I executed that. All the musicians get kidnapped and they are thrown into Microsoft Vista music section. And that's where they're banging the doors. So the client kind of hated it, but somehow it went on air. So that is something that I really liked, because that was one of my first.
You remember that,
Yeah, so these couple of things are really brings back the nostalgia. Yeah, that's all.
I can't think of, because I've done many.
10,000.
But he showed me Kaveri. That was one of the best which I did. I feel with Tasaduk, my combination of work has been, for feature it was, the toughest was Kamine.
Right.
So Kamine.
So that film, after it got released, I got a lot of backlash because people couldn't see in the theatres. So that was one incident which is.
But that kind of brought that new.
I got more work.
Yeah.
But but got to hear a lot from people that. So me and Tasu decided that no more dark films like.
Yeah.
There's a film that I worked on, and we thought it was very good. I worked with Ayappa himself, and I asked him yesterday, do you have it? He sent me a copy of it. I mean, it should be seen, it's a very sweet film, well meant also. So if we have the time, I'll just play it back. But I wish it was out there. The client didn't take it because they felt it was down market. I don't think so. By the look of it, but you guys have a look.
Surely, Would love to see it.
Yeah.
So I have two. One is an Academy Sachin ad which we did during COVID with Abhinay. So I had to score through like about 200 hours of cricket footage of Sachin,
right.
And create like a montage of Abhinay Deo. So we had to just I just had to scroll through all the matches and pick out moments.
200 hours.
200
of all the matches of his life. But the most memorable one is the MP tourism ad, because I was working with Vinil, and I was also, I think, a couple of days away from my delivery of a first child. I went into labor right in middle of edit.
Crazy.
And then I think when I came to my senses after the delivery, I see Vinil holding, what I thought was a baby, but he was holding a laptop, because I had to, he said, you're the only one who knows all the layers of video. Can you just...
Are you serious?
I'm not kidding, it is true.
He can do that.
Oh, man.
Please just finish this, and so the edit happened before the baby, like I had to send it off. Yeah.
Wow.
And then I saw the baby.
But he has a passion, he has a commitment.
Yeah.
But commitment can come from there.
So yeah, but that was a
that's crazy
tough
stuff.
project also because of the layers we
Yeah,
had,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and it was all done in the edit, and
Correct,
then
correct,
later on
correct.
smoothened out.
Yeah.
Yeah, with me, lot of edits that I have done, and if I go like a serial wise, like Prasoon's was Fevicol, the bus one, which was like with the scratch music. There are two music merged together, and Prasoon said we will record this, and then later he said no, we will use this only. That was the one was the best, meaning good
Wow.
experience on that.
Yeah.
Then there was another Happy Dent. Ram's film.
That
Again.
was very edited. But
Yeah,
this
yeah.
one was like proper selection of the
Yeah.
beautiful.
That one with the music and
Yeah,
beats
the
and
swaying of the
and it's not recorded to the film.
Right.
You know, it's with the
So
scratch
syncing
music
it
only
to that, huh?
with the two different tracks.
Right.
Then there was recently what I did for Prakash Verma's Apple film, which was that was fantastic. We took a good experience. I was there at the
Action,
shoot, so
yeah.
action thing. Then British Airways was also there.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things which we did, and meaning which these are the most films which I actually, if I say till date, which I'm enjoying out of that. And
Basically,
which-
you don't hold on to, like, you know, sometimes
Yeah.
you feel so connected. No, it's like when we cut a film, the rough cut is on a music, you get so connected with that.
Yeah.
When you compose new music, you are like, oh my God, this is not
Horrible.
like, it just,
Yeah.
it feels so
There-
wrong for a
yeah.
long time. And, you know,
There was one BPL film which I was telling Prakash, whole lot of Prasoon's film, lot of rushes was there. And my first cut was like 3.5 minutes. So I said, this is Chersey cut. Chersey cut. You know. So everybody preferred like Chersey cut dikha, Chersey cut dikha. 30 second mat dikha, Chersey cut dikha.
Oh,
So it was
so
like
nice.
that. And later that film was been
Released as the-
not released. It took for some institute in Australia somewhere where they were showing another way to look at edit.
Lovely.
You know what-
So nice.
If it is there, we can see.
But
it.
you know, if you see Sally's timeline, you know, when he's editing, it'll never be a 40-second, it'll never be a 30-second. It'll be 40-second, one frame. 30-second, abhi bhi hai.
Abhi bhi hai.
And I always
That is a
thought it's
good-
not one by one frame, it's no lucky frame. Sally's lucky frame. And I also started doing Sally's lucky frame in the end. I don't know.
But that day, earlier days, like in pneumatics and whatever, then film commercials to release. So 30 seconds and one frame they should delete. So I said, Sala, itna mehnat kiya hai, one frame kyun delete kar rahe hai? So the 1 second extra, so I automatically 30 seconds you get proper.
Okay, that is the story behind it.
Yeah.
What about you?
And now I
Suresh?
always think like why 30 second is a film like it could be 31 second, 32 seconds.
Correct.
A film makes like then because of an agency and client and airtime and
fine, yeah.
that's why they do it 30. But I never say
takes
like
out the
30.
life,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I never say when 1 frame, 2 frame make a difference from here and there in
Lucky
the cut.
frame.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I think the Karishma commercial with Ayappa directing and Swapnil Sonamne shooting, I think that was a really fun one because we did tests for it.
Oh, okay.
So we actually shot on different cameras because the idea was, I mean, it was an homage to an older commercial.
Yeah.
But the idea was to actually recreate it exactly how we remember it now, which is a very compressed version on YouTube. So we actually shot with an older generation, like a beta camera, as well as like the Alexa,
Right.
and then we tried to recreate the look, and then we kind of imagined, okay, how would we be seeing it now? So it was probably shot, say, on 35 or 16 at that point in time,
4:3 and yeah.
transferred to beta at some point in time for airing, but now the only version that exists is this compressed version on YouTube.
yeah.
So we actually took the Alexa, degraded it in terms of resolution, made it look like film, then we added all of our analog damage on top of it,
Nice.
and then we added compression on top of it. But the fun thing was that we didn't know that 100 feet away, the original DP of that commercial was grading his feature at our studio. And after it released,
Who was this? Mahesh?
Maheshani
Oh.
and his assistant called him up after the commercial release and said, "Sir, हमने करिश्मा के साथ भी shoot किया था क्या?"
Arey, wow. That's a
best.
compliment, yeah.
So when he got to know that it was done there, we actually showed him the entire process, and he
Right.
was like really happy with the whole
So
thing.
nice.
And the second best was like Kerala tourism, what we did for Prakash Verma.
Yeah, Mohan
In
and
that Mohan and
shot,
Singh.
yeah.
The one shot was like reverse shot, and we normally it's supposed to be an elephant shot. It's a reverse shot basically. And a shot to normal frame and 50 frames. So we were scrolling and we saw, "Arey, the reverse is looking fantastic." Verma is saying, "Put reverse on, we'll put reverse." So in the edit, it's one reverse cut is there.
I think there are many happy accidents.
Yeah,
that we
there
find
are.
while
Yeah.
scrolling things or
That's
just
the whole thing about the
scupping through
artistry of the whole.
In fact, I remember Prasun showing me his BPL mobile ad, and I was like, dude, this is stunning to look at. Okay, and just after that, I was working on a Reed and Taylor commercial with him. And then we needed some elements, okay? Who shot it?
I don't know.
Who shot Dawn?
Dawn.
Dawn.
No. Rock On, sorry, Rock On?
Rock On was
Jason West.
Jason West shot
Jason West.
BPL mobile.
Yeah.
So
Jason West shot.
So there's some elements that I needed, and I remembered, can I borrow those and integrate it into that film? And it kind of worked out well.
Really?
If we have the time, we can see that as well after we see his film.
Yeah. So this brings me to the next question. How the industry has changed, ad industry has changed quite a bit with the digital films, and also the way the consumption of advertisements and have changed. You know, you have Instagram and so many other places that advertisements are figuring now. How has it impacted all of you, and what are your views about this change, and how has it also affected the budgets and things? If you can all throw a little bit of light on that, because this is going to be the future. So you know, for all those people who are thinking of getting into this, can either choose now to go with it or not.
I think what has changed is added like a lot of versions, like vertical 1:1, and you know,
9 by
bumpers
16,
and pre-rolls.
16 by 9,
So all those versioning has added a lot of stress on the post producers. They have to come up with, and then 8 languages for
Correct.
each.
Yeah,
version.
that's
So that
one
is
part.
one
yeah.
part.
Yeah. But in terms of the change in the whole landscape.
No, see, I'll tell you, what happens is there was a time when a booking used to be taken.
Correct.
This is the grading days.
Yeah.
Now it is not that. Now the producer goes through a post producer and he's given a target that he needs to complete, for example, in 4 lakhs, your picture and sound. So he divides it. He calls the studio and says that I want everything in 1.5 lakhs. Grading, online, this, that.
Yeah.
And in that, director's cut, everything. So that thing has changed. And then we start negotiating. So negotiation, because if we don't do it, some other studio is ready to do it.
Yeah.
So, and that's there with the biggest production house also. Everyone is into that.
Yeah.
Like there are good production houses like Rajesh Krishnan's, never negotiate on the cost.
Yeah.
But they're bound to do that. Vinyls.
Yeah.
Because we know what's happening in the market.
It's also the shoot also, they have bunked in, you have to do stills and promos and reels and everything. You have to shoot in the same schedule, no, with the celebrity.
And then good that in the online it is like 1:1, 9:16, all the formats, different languages, all bumped into the online.
Have to change, no? Yeah.
And then if you don't do it in that, there is some other studio ready to do it.
Yeah, there's someone to do it for a lesser buck.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
The other thing that I hate when somebody tells me, "Arey, ye khali Instagram ke liye," but the
work is
amount
the
of
work,
effort,
same
like
work.
if I'm animating something, I'm animating 25 frames per second. So my efforts are same. If your canvas is
we
reduced,
used to make fun. Arey, mera machine samajhta nahi or digital hai.
Real.
No, but I think what I miss the most is, like, you know, meeting people and just sitting in a room, and there was a lot of creative energy flowing in the room.
Yes, absolutely.
Now it's become so transactional that I have not seen the director in my life, right? I'm just on the phone or on the Zoom with camera off. Or, you know, it's become a very solitary job. It was very solitary. And it's become even more isolated.
And there's no inspiration.
I miss meeting and connecting with the people.
I think COVID changed that. You know, COVID
No, even then the studio culture kept disappearing.
So the studio culture
was non-existent, right? Like,
exactly,
But I think you're talking about like how you have to move with the technology, or where it's moving up and where it is going.
You know, the technology has also impacted, or these platforms have impacted the form of the film. So, you know, earlier they could make a big ad for the whole country, TV viewers will watch it. Today you can target specifically. You know, you can get an 18 to 22 age group, you can target them. So you make a film for them. That doesn't work for a 50-year-old. But the product could still work for the 50-year-old. So they will target and make more films. which will be seen by them while they are browsing or whatever. They'll just pop up and they'll see it. So it's targeted marketing, no?
That research thing, no, has really screwed up the creativity part. कि अभी ये research में ये age group में ये नहीं चलता है.
No, but now also it's happening all seasonal. Like IPL is there, so then you will see a lot of commercials. Then you will see any festival season, you will see commercials.
Yeah, I think that's also very important.
I see a good side of it also because there's so many new directors and cinematographers coming in.
Yeah.
You know,
and experimental.
Beautiful work.
Yeah.
Beautiful work. Just that you don't see the difference.
Correct.
Previously, we used to pick up like this is shot.
You could find out who's
shot
this is
what.
Mohan and shoot or
Yeah,
this
but
guy.
because we should give them a benefit of doubt because they are not given a much more prep time. There's
Right. Budget constraints. And
budget constraints. 2 days before there's a recce going on. You're shooting the next day, and there's no prep. The project gets locked just 3 days before.
So there is a reason character for them. Of the films are also getting
all look because you see the art direction. It's almost
it's
the
all same. Yeah. So characters.
But we shouldn't. One good thing is there are good directors and DOPs coming out, and there's options. We had a limited options.
Correct.
Might be 10 years down.
We all would go for one DOP or one editor.
So now there's, and that's the culture coming for features also. There's new people coming out for a series.
Right.
So I see a good and a bad part of it.
This is
good is good people.
This is definitely a good part. The bad part is when you're getting into a meeting. I don't know whether it used to happen before Google or not. They would get random references of some Pixar Disney film where they have spent like 5 years in research of designing a character and the look and feel, the amount of production quality that they say ये reference है, अभी ये digital के लिए बनाना है, इसको copy करो. So that is something I really hate. And that for me that has changed. Like
but there are good directors like
Colourist and
the other directors. They know what is the palette and how they are going to look. Maybe Navin must be having a tough time. They ये rushes है मेरा, उसको ऐसा grade करके दे दे. But there is no color palette and there is nothing color reference. So how can you?
No, we are facing these things, but we have to be service provider. We can be vocal. The vocal can be to a limit. There's a process that we might cross the line if you say something, and probably person can stop working with you.
Can feel insecure.
But this has started a bit more. There was a time where I could share my thoughts. Now I need to think about it.
No, see, there is an art. There is an art to approaching how to shoot an ad. You know? I mean, every lot of directors want to bring their feature film sensibilities into an ad.
Exactly.
And then the agency wants to cut it down to like a 30-seconder, but you shot it like a feature.
Right.
Nobody times their ads at a narration stage. If you narrate it and if you see it, your dialogues are running longer than 45 seconds. How do you expect us to fit it into a 30 and then it starts looking jumpy, and that hasn't changed. That is still the same.
That's still the same.
But that used to happen before.
So I think,
but at least certain directors of earlier times, they knew how to approach.
But
format.
they had much control also. Now they don't have much control because the agency takes a call, or there's some other people, the client takes a call.
Yeah, so something has shifted.
Yeah,
in
that
terms
is the
of,
major thing which is shifted basically.
But I'd like to add something to the larger question, which is that I think advertising has to change and we all have to adapt because consumption has changed.
Consumption has changed.
As consumers, like today, I am more likely to buy something by seeing a YouTuber review it rather than a celebrity endorsing it. And that essentially means that advertising budgets are going to go both ways. So there will be some which will go towards scripted and some which is more towards creators and more, authentic. That is essentially what we all look for, authenticity. And if scripted content isn't giving you that, and a consumer is really,
No, but there's a cycle. This is going to happen, go on for 3-4 years. Again, our old tradition might come up. It's more like a grading, high contrast, then softer, then again high contrast, now colorful. So those processes will start. Same with editing also.
Patterns of editing.
Editing.
I think also the durations have become so shorter. Like you are working on a 20-second.
Correct.
That's very tough.
You no longer see any storytelling or a stylized film. Never. I've never seen for last 3-4 years.
No, because I think mostly the point of sales has become a thing. Like people are looking at price, and advertising's function has become like persuade to buy immediately. So that also has become a large quantity of advertisement is like really point of sales, and you get it for this deal, and all those things are happening on, I mean, especially when you are in the digital platform.
Yeah.
You just go with the...
I hear a lot for producers, we try to put on producers. Producers, the agency or probably who are the clientele, they say that, okay, we need this. Okay, shoot chalu hua. On the set, अरे ये भी चाहिए, अरे ये भी चाहिए. The producer has a limit to do that, you know.
Correct.
And where it ends up is, अरे post का budget कम करना पड़ेगा. ये इधर गया, you know. That's
so that's a reality that is happening. Yeah.
I think working for production houses is like slightly safer for me. Like if I'm providing animation or VFX services directly to an agency as compared to a production house, I feel much safer with the production house because there is a producer who is fighting for my rights. And when you go to the agency, they are like, we are doing a favor on you by giving you this job, you know. So, and next time we'll definitely have this thing. So that is something that I keep facing on and off.
No,
See a smirk on your face.
We face a very different problem. We prefer agency.
Yeah, even
we prefer agency because directly working with client is even more painful. You have to educate them, and you don't get paid for educating them.
Absolutely.
So agency at least will bat for you.
Right.
They stand by you at least.
Yeah. So that's the way I see it, because directly working with client is a different.
Sometimes the clients are amazing, you know.
Sometimes,
the agency that's not able to understand what
Agency being a gatekeeper is a very problematic area.
Exactly.
They're constantly second guessing or intellectualizing in a very literary way. I mean, which has nothing to do with the visual, audio-visual experience of the thing.
Absolutely.
Client reacts better. And
Absolutely.
we can go back to what was our first cut.
Yeah, true. I heard a lot about this.
Yeah,
but also you have a client who has an agency in-house also, right?
That's also there.
That also is there.
That's also there.
Continue.
Yeah, I mean, same thing happens also in films, like network creatives. I mean, similarly behaves like this agency people. I mean,
yes,
they second guess, they have formulas in their mind, and they wouldn't let you do something fresh.
Disruptive.
Yeah.
They even compose a background music now.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But in this, I'm working a lot with Prakash Sharma, but he also, a lot of time, he puts his hard efforts to change whatever scripts are coming to him. Meaning trying to change it, getting new styles,
I think
trying
Prasoon
also, they try their best.
Vinal,
But somewhere down the line, I think client or marketing or I don't know, the barrier is there.
They're generally their
taking the
agencies.
rule book.
No, what they do last is, okay, I'll do what you say and we'll shoot what we want also. That also
That
happens
becomes
nowadays.
option.
We'll decide.
Yeah,
Optional.
but that's something that we generally avoid.
There's a lot of these research groups से information आया कि ऐसा ही design चाहिए. That is something that is, you know.
वो क्यों होता है जब when you don't listen to them ना, then it goes to research.
Achha, that's why they come to me with the same reason.
So there is also this saying that films are always made on at the editing table. So, and you all work with so many directors, and you know how directors think also. So there is a director in all of you, right? I mean, so when is that switch? When do you stop yourself from becoming a director? Because I think it is second nature, because you have intuitions, you have ideas, and you can actually
Not every time it changes on the table, but sometimes it does change on the table. It happened in one or two commercials. It happened with me where Prasun's always dialogues, yaar end mein hasi aana chahiye. So that's how the comeback is always there. After product window, comeback is there. So that keeps you hooked. So one day Prasun said, "Arey yaar, ye jam nahi raha hai. Edit kiya hai, lekin jam nahi raha hai. Ruk, aata hu 2 minute." Then he'll go out. He's doing that one blank space is there, and then now he will start. And that's how, meaning whatever he's scripted. And whatever he has till now narrated to the client and agency, but then he changes on the editable.
It happens. No, I'm talking about editors, as all of you. Like, you know,
I mean, sometimes, but
as you as filmmakers.
Yeah, it happens. Like, I mean, that's why I'm saying, no, like, 10-20% what we can do it. You can't change the entire script to it, but most of the hook can be changed.
Yeah. No, my question is, like, you work with so many directors and understand the ways and methods. So, you also can double guess by now, you know, many things. There are also quite a few filmmakers who were editors first. Like, you know, Manav, and, you know, there are several others who are there. So that's what I'm asking. Where do you draw the line where you cross over?
With Sally specific is directed stuff.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about you as director.
I don't really use
You don't. Okay.
For me, I of course this edit happen, like story gets created on the edit table. But for me, as a like sometimes there are projects where animation is one of the key parts in the film. So for me, a lot of things happen on the storyboard level. Like I already improvise and I already anticipate like the director might get stuck here. So I need to come up with a game plan and tell him that, you know, here we need to add a punch or a close-up of a character,
right,
or an interaction. So that's where I actually, in the discussion on the storyboard level, I kind of try to interfere and say this is, and I know that this is where my animation will shine or my VFX shot will.
Correct.
No, but I think with all of us here, when we get any kind of footage, and the way we approach edit is like we all find our inner director and kind of get a voice in the storytelling, right? So when you look at there used to be a time when you look at a commercial, you know, okay, this is Sally's style and this is like Prakash's voice, right? So, I mean, those are interesting things we try and get into our, edits. I think when we stop becoming a director is when the product window happens. Then switch off.
True. I think it also varies from person to person. Like, if I am working with 4 directors at various points, where I stop, that point also changes.
Yes.
Like, there is a director with who I'm so in tune with in terms of aesthetics and energy and stuff like that, and we are so similar, or what we are doing we are so passionate about. I'll find myself fighting a lot more with him, and he's also allowing, in the sense that he also want to be doubly sure that not that he's really not trusting what I'm suggesting, but he's also trying to be devil's advocate to make doubly sure that the decision we are taking is the best. Yeah, that kind of thing. And then you also working with people, you know that they have some boundaries. I mean, no matter how you push, there is some subjective conditioning there that they won't like this kind of subtlety or this kind of particular treatment or this kind of being bold with a cut or something. This is very personal choices involved. And you understand that and you don't do it. I mean, you don't push there. And rather, you understand that and you try to work around that to make the entire edit work in that world. I mean, in that aesthetic palette. So
also,
it varies.
With all of us, I think the clients that we work with, it percolates down to the bunch of clients that you are constantly working with. And I mean, had the good fortune to just, they come when the script is in hand or the storyboard is in hand and check and all of that. So it's nice.
It's in the journey.
Well, but sometimes it works sometimes in feature films most of the time, like particular intercutting scenes. And if the storytelling has been said in a particular manner and then we intercut with a lot of sequence and we got backstory in front. That's where you get a restructuring. That's where you get more space and more time to on a feature film. And in a 30-second there's a limited thing there.
There's a function to
it. But at some points it does work. It changes. What will change, not the product window or anything, but the smile on the face. Either in the end or in the beginning, or suspense, whether to reveal in the beginning or in the end.
Correct.
With Prasoon, I think he gives you a director's hat sometimes when you're on the shoot, no? Like I remember my first instance where we were shooting something underwater and there was a lot of VFX and some kind of product window he wanted for the Fevicol thing. And he said, Vaibhav has come and he storyboarded this thing. So he just stood up and said, "Tu baith ja, main jara jaake aata hu, direct kar le." So that particular moment, you know that you're going to direct this shot and you're responsible for that shot. So you feel like, I mean, even those people understand that sometimes your calls are more important.
Correct. So this is another important thing. AI is now looming.
Winter is coming, AI is coming.
It's coming, So, and it's already here and in a very, very big way. So what are your views about your craft and spaces that you are in?
So for us as a post house, I think we all are getting adapted to this whole new thing. So initially you used to get storyboards, now we're getting AI boards. We all must be getting AI boards right now. It's quite an interesting time actually for, I think, post houses and everybody. And I think it's going to change a lot.
Correct.
It has actually started to change. I personally feel a lot of positions in a studio, post studios, will become empty sooner.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
You think so?
100%.
Yeah.
It already started.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff like rotoscope is automated.
Creature animations. Creatures are fully possible with AI.
A lot of stuff. I'm saying
Another 2 years.
FX-based things, cleanup, concept art. It's all coming straight from the
Yeah, yeah,
client
yeah.
on the phone. Of course, it's on your WhatsApp also. So I think we are getting a lot. So because we have a post house and we also have a production house, so we get a lot of scripts from everywhere, from the client. In fact, the client is sending us, this is exactly how I want it. And we have to replicate it. Either we shoot it or we do it in CGI.
Wow.
And they're telling us, see, it is done, right? So you have to replicate this. It's a tough thing, but eventually I think we all have to adapt to it. There's no option.
So, as you said, there's no escape. You'll
There's
have
no
to.
escape.
You
I
have to
think the
grow.
VFX studios will be affected a lot is because what is happening is the most difficult stuff, which was say liquid simulation or FX based things, are not easily
Cleanups.
possible. Cleanups, I think I still would say is something
No, it's
okay
old. Cleanup
because
is
that is
gone
happening
now.
because that's
Easy.
happening on the
It's
phone right
easy.
now.
Yeah, I'm saying,
Your iPhone has an option of cleaning up wires and everything. But
Yeah.
I'm saying the difficult stuff like FX, liquid simulation and stuff like that, which initially used to take a longer
take a lot of
time
time.
and happen very
He's
quickly.
looking at me.
No,
Because
I'm
I
not
have
looking
one
at-
good guy.
No, he used to work with us. That guy.
So he's looking at me.
No, not because of that. I'm just generally saying. See, because that is the most difficult thing. I'll tell
Yeah.
you. Because cleanup and all still can be managed.
But completely it's going to come or it's going to blend with the AI and you.
Yeah, it
depends
will
on
be
how-
always
what is
a
going to
combination
happen?
of
Yeah,
both.
combination,
You
combination,
can't
but
go
And
eventually-
eventually it'll come. Yeah.
Eventually it will come. But right now what is happening is, see, because what happens is the durations have decreased, right? Earlier used to work on a 30 second, now you're working on a 20 or a 15. In a 15 second, you will have 3 seconds of maximum time to showcase the FX based thing. So it becomes much easier to use AI into a shorter thing.
No, but you are looking at it as an advertising point of view. 30 seconds, I say. But what about a long format and all those things? It will still.
See, long format will still take time because it has to replicate. But I still feel it will.
We are using AI for
But
crowd multiplication,
yeah, AI will
slows
come
and
with
all
AI
that stuff.
and this VFX will both blend together.
Blend together.
I
It will,
think
it will.
so.
Yeah, that's
No,
what
no,
he's
Because
also
a lot of
saying.
things where you can generate in AI, but still you have to come to VFX and get it fixed.
That's it.
That is
Starts
the
from
big-
there.
That's
yeah,
now.
that's the beginning stage now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
over a period
It'll
of
become
time,
perfect.
they will,
will.
get a perfect.
See, I think even in terms of animation, I can say because this shift had happened when I was doing 2D animation on paper
I know.
with Mr. Rammohan, and suddenly the 3D animation thing came in and everybody was scared like, oh, there will be no 2D animation anymore. We have a gentleman here who is still making money out of 2D animation, making,
My
winning
father-
awards. So I don't think that way. See, people will change their hats. The cleanup artists will probably learn prompt commands. They will upgrade themselves. So I don't think studios will be empty. They might be downsized in terms of कि इतना manpower में इतना काम आसानी से जल्दी हो सकता है. But there will be more work also probably coming in because
More work
you're
will
churning
happen.
No, but
That's true.
the value will go
More work,
down.
though, I don't see
value can
anything.
go
The value will go down.
I think that's
So,
I
a
don't
very
see
valid
The
thing.
more work in the sense, अरे ये हो जाएगा post में.
See, it becomes
That sort
much,
of work
see
will
the
come.
moment it
I think
becomes
Jayant has
easier.
a very
na.
valid point that value can go down is what
It
he's
will go
saying.
down because right now people are saying it's happening on my phone. Why would I pay you to?
But value
do
has
it?
But
already
value is
gone
never
down.
always
already
when
gone
it's
down.
always
Already
the
gone
same.
down.
It will
like
fall down further. Is what I
30
feel.
years ago, there was 2,500, 3,000 bucks an hour. Still, it's same thing.
Yeah, that would be the
That's-
value.
So,
that's gone
Considering
down.
the GDP also
so
going up.
it's
Grading
not
with
gonna-
Patil Saab was 15,000 in 97.
Yeah.
Correct.
It is now 13,500.
Yeah, so it's
Or lesser than that.
even if it is
And
15,
the software
it is
prices
lesser
are
only.
increasing.
Exactly, after 27 years.
Yeah, it's lesser.
So this is what it is. It's going to stay where it is. Yeah, your
Value is going down. Yeah.
I think we all will adopt to it naturally. you know,
Yeah.
and one way or the other we'll use it. Like we are using it subconsciously right now in Photoshop and Premiere. We were just discussing
using it, yeah.
that we're using these smaller versions of AI plugins and
But what Jayant has to say that in next 2 years, 3 years, it will be overshadowed by
It
those
will be.
It's not going to become an exclusive,
Yeah.
skill.
Yeah.
See
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Because every
ego-
studio
everybody
has their
gonna
own
do it,
skill
yeah.
set, right?
Like, you know, even algorithms can edit if you put a music,
Yeah.
if you put a few photos, it'll edit it so beautifully that you will
Yeah,
you will
but
get
then
a feel.
that will not have an organic touch. What
It doesn't.
See,
it
but
was
for
all
you and me it is there, but for the client-
generated. It is
Yeah.
not a thought process.
But you know
in
what I'm
that-
saying?
in
That
that
even-
cut.
But market
The
is not always
users-
sensitive to the
Yeah.
quality, that kind of quality.
It will come back, but right now.
But then
quantity.
he's right, because in a
quantity.
short format it might work. Long
Yeah.
format,
Correct.
I'm talking about short format.
And we
But
are
short
talking about
format,
In short
it's-
format, it is working.
yeah,
it's
we are
going to-
talking mostly of ads. So
Ads,
I
yeah.
think
Then
So
in
in
the
ads
long
also,
format
no,
also
like
they will-
how the PPMs are right now changing, like how people used to create their PPMs before. I just saw, like I met somebody, I don't want to name anybody, but he created a narration in the PPM, like recorded and then recorded in own voice and then put a
Slideshow
Gulzar
video.
voice on it to make it more
that
impactful.
is-
And then these storyboards are made in AI, which are like senseless, but they're still in
it's
a
like-
learning stage. But still, it's you. So that
Yeah.
format of presentation has been changing, which is more impressive. But in the final output, I think you need some demented people to add their quirk to the.
I just add one quick thing. So I do a lot of tabletop stuff, right?
Yeah.
So for me, what happens is when we are working on an idea, say let's example for a chocolate or something. For us, the reference point has always been nice, flowing chocolate and everything. With AI, we are able to create visuals which are unseen, right? People want to do something which is unseen. So once I have an idea, like 10 variations of that, it helps me to design the shot very differently. So I have this, we have a phantom and a robo. So what we do is we 3D print the object in a very different way. So that has added a lot of different visuals to what I could not do earlier. So that's helping me in this part. Because a visualizer will not understand. For me, I know what you want, and you just prompt, and you have nice ideas coming out of this.
So it's always better to learn rather than
Fight it.
fight it.
You
You
can't.
You have
can't
to
fight
learn.
it.
You have to learn. You
Yeah,
can't
I have to
escape
partner with it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel that we should not, give away the traditional ways of working, because the 2D or the storyboarding or those things, writing down the script still has to be done organically.
But it's more like film negative to digital.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
You need to accept it.
It's
And
You have
if
to
say that
accept
you
it.
still
It's a
want to
tough
go
time.
back.
Yeah.
but accepting it, but you're still adding that film grain on your digital.
But that is fine. But everyone wants to shoot on a film,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it?
But the clients have changed, right? The clients have changed. They want a lot of quantity and so many newer brands coming in with a lot of content which is needed in the year across
There will be more of
365 days.
content coming in.
Every 10 days they want something new.
Okay, one more question to all of you. It's a personal thing again. How do you find inspiration? I mean, what for you to like keep updated and inspired at work? Where do you look for inspiration, references? What sort of things that you keep watching to keep yourself ignited with spirit?
I travel.
Traveling? Oh,
I travel, and I feel travel is the best thing to open up your minds. And also I think earlier I couldn't afford, but now I can go and see all the museums across the world, and there's so much inspiration in so many things that I can bring back to what I create over here. So as I was telling you about the tabletop division, so I traveled in US in a very remote place. There was an FX artist who used to do physical FX around 40 years ago. And he in his garage showed me all the smaller things that he used to use to, so like we have our Joelda. So he is there right from almost 30-40 years, and he's been working on all the commercials.
But how did you find him?
I found him on the internet and I saw his work, and he's amazing. He's retired now, but he was kind enough to give me 6-7 hours, and he showed me each and everything. And he uses normal things like pistons and stuff like that, pneumatics. And I got such an insight. It was a remote place, but I traveled there just to understand and right now it helps me so much in stuff that I'm creating, which nobody is using. I think we were the first one to use pneumatic here in tabletop division.
Fantastic.
And then everybody started, but
we'll have to be a little quick about this, but Abhro, you want to?
I can't put my finger on anything specific. I think watching other people's work and also in different medium, like it can be music, it can be writing, it can be everywhere. I mean, also mindlessly scrolling Insta, that also, I mean, so many people are doing mad stuff. It really helps. I mean, that's keeps you alive. And also doing things that I'm not probably supposed to do, and you get kicked from there, energy from there, and also various kinds of dabbling in various kinds of language in terms of making an audio-visual piece. One thing, you keep borrowing inspiration from various disciplines.
True.
And
sorry, one second. But I'm so impressed with the new age guys, who are working on Insta. The type of content that they are creating on their phones now. I think that is a huge inspiration, because on the phone, what they are doing, the type of edit, the type of shots they are taking on a phone, I'm saying that is a huge inspiration for me. And I keep on wondering, I keep on telling my team, look at this, they've done it on a phone. For us, we know how difficult it was to get a shot like that. To look at those guys working on it, it's amazing. I think that is something.
Suddenly the guy jumping in the car and you...
New age filmmakers.
I think for me, inspiration, like I've been a restless soul right from as long as I know myself. So I'm always looking for something that I've not done before. and now there are more opportunities, more clients, more demand. So I'm always on my toes to like literally grab something that I've not done before.
Right.
So my kick is always about something, put myself in a situation where I've not handled that medium and I just want to do that.
Explore.
So I think that, and clients are inspiring me by giving me an opportunity. यानी ये सब कांड करने का पैसा मिल रहा है, and sometimes you get awards for that. So that's good inspiration for me. And again, seniors like you, Vaibhav, and other people, I mean, they always look at each other's work and you get so inspired. You don't need to go 7 seas far away to get inspired. Like I can just call up somebody and say, "Apne ye kaise kiya?" And they are very, now people are sharing, you know, as compared to, I don't know, my experience 2 decades before, people were hesitant sharing their skills. Now they are sharing and posting it. So like he said, like you can learn so many techniques of shooting, of executing animation. So it's always keeps you on your toes. I also want to try that. So I feel very inspired by even that small Insta something. Kaisa kiya rahega? That curiosity keeps me inspired. As long as that curiosity is there, I think another 10 years.
As long as agency and clients also don't get inspired, we go to them.
End of the day, I don't care too much about what the clients are thinking about my work. The output is for them.
Right.
The process is owned by me. So I am always inspired by that process and that experience, you know, for which I'm getting paid for. So I'm very happy, I'm content with that. So somebody's paying you to experiment, that keeps me inspired.
For me, I've been traveling a lot now for festivals and all that thing. That is the sort of films which I've been coming across with people, hearing their scripts, connecting with people, you know. And secondly, in my studio, it's now, there was a time where people used to say Navin Shetty. Now it is not. Now it's Nube. So there is a lot of mentorship going behind and getting new talents. And those are talents who are exploiting in a better way the softwares. And I learn from them. So those are things which I'm doing right now. Getting more talents, whether it's in CG VFX, build up a huge setup. So that's my inspiration to make it a little bit.
I really like graphic novels, so that's my go-to. You know, not Superman, Batman, really the Vertigo series and all those things. So I do find a lot of visual angles and colors and everything. Somehow it's there in the subconscious. I have started working on Midjourney a bit, you know. So you realize that you have a thought, and if you want to send a prompt across, and the instant dopamine that you get back, you know, you can't keep up because it's churning stuff. So a bit of that, and films, watching films, of course, but graphic novels is a vice. It really helps me, I would think, you know, subconsciously, and in what I do or say.
What inspires me the most is the energy of the director. You know, if the director is detached and doing like a commercial just for, you know, making, like, you know, doing for the sake of doing, then you have the same energy. But if the director is kind of involved,
it's infectious.
It's infectious. Then you want to do more, right? I mean,
totally.
And we're fortunate enough to work with directors who are still so involved and passionate about what they do, and I think that kind of rubs off for me. So.
Same thing what Shweta is saying, like the directors gets me inspired more at this age also. Prasoon, they're still working and trying to put their efforts and making it best even now. So looking at them, I feel like sometimes I feel I should surrender now. I should give it.
You are also inspiring. You're still doing it.
No, but I want to give it to the team which I have 4-5 good members with me. Like Sanjay Mali is there.
There's a good team which,
you know, Bhushan. I wanted to give it to them, and I have to take it and you run it ahead further. I'm there as a support.
So as a company also, I'm also doing the same thing. You know, there is a good talent, there's a good team, good marketing team, good producers who really serves to the client so much. You know, we are not giving so much importance to the producers also, who's handling so many clients.
Absolutely.
So, and I think so they are running the show, I feel.
Yeah, they are only running the show, right?
They are running the show. We are just there as a trademark.
I mean, I end up finding inspiration through food sometimes.
Food.
Yeah, so like traveling
I think that
to
inspires
different
everybody.
places.
Correct.
Like you can literally go down the road from here to Mask, you'll end up having a meal that Varun Totlani has made, and he's done something amazing out of like Sabar Bonda, and that will just, you know, give you an idea to do something.
Wow.
I think lunchtime ho gaya.
I want to ask you the same question. What inspires you? Because you are inspiring all of us right now.
For me, see, I don't get to watch anything. So I don't watch any films that much, which is not a good thing. But yeah, I travel a lot, so which kind of helps me come up with something fresh. I mean, and unseen. So that keeps me going, and I go to film festivals.
That's where it come from you actually.
So
It came.
film festivals, I go and there you get to see curated films. Somebody is doing that job for you to, because in the ocean of stuff that you have, what do you start watching? Here there is a special team sitting and curating a few films for you, and I just soak in. Like when I go to festivals, like 10, 12 hours I'm watching films.
Wow.
That's about it. So, 1 week I'll be doing that, then I'll sleep also in some films. It's not like, it's impossible to like keep yourself alert. But that drives in some other way. It's not like I want to do something, but I think we connect, right? We see things, we hear, we smell, and we connect, and somewhere that really helps me. And places and people.
Culture.
I mean, like really people and anything, any conversation also, I feel that I can make a film out of it, because it's so important. So nowadays, even if I would rather walk on the road or get into a rickshaw, record my conversation with him. So, you'd never know where it goes.
I know, the Sanu also does the same thing. He portraits and you also do the
I
same
draw
thing.
people also.
Like
I mean, I keep doodling people when they're sitting and stuff. So I just do that, and I kind of
And
find...
there's so much story in that.
You find stories everywhere.
Because I saw Sanu doing it,
Yeah.
and then I saw you also doing it.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much story into it.
Do you have 8 sketches already?
That will come out.
Can I throw one question? A
Yeah.
quick question for everybody. Because what do you think? Like, because we all have our own. We remember our teenage working as a retainer without money, getting chai for our seniors, and working day night. And I never thought about money as a factor when we are interning with MTV or any other place. But today's generation, they definitely expect something when they come into an internship. Like at least an experience with me, when they want to expect something from you, that you will pay us this much and then we'll learn. And then, so how has been your experience handling the new generation of editors or graphic designers who come into your studio with their portfolios, your interaction with them? What is your experience about, what do you feel about the new generation and their passion?
I find
as
that
compared to
if I can answer, I can...
The new generations don't want to take any responsibility. They want to be on their own. They will decide what they want to do, and they have come with one achievement. I want to do this, so I want to go directly there. That is all old story. You forget about it.
अभी करने का जरूरत नहीं है.
And if I'm an intern, I'm in traveling from my home wherever, at least that much money you have to give it to me.
Yeah.
Earlier I used to get 300 rupees ka first class ka pass, and I used to take local without AC for 6 months in that money and to travel.
Exactly,
again.
I did the same thing. Yeah.
To learn something, Now it's not like that.
No, but when I look at youngsters, I mean, they value time a lot more. I find it very encouraging. They want to use their time a lot more meaningfully than... They would say that I want to come, but I want to only work 3 days. I want to do something on my own.
Balance.
The rest of the 5 days.
And they are very focused.
True, actually,
Though we were also focused.
Their priority is, it's a good thing. So that
they are very, very focused.
Very focused.
They value their time, but they're never on time.
that is the culture of Indian standard time, whatever.
But we never used to be there. We never.
No,
You were always there.
So it
I
comes.
was always on time.
No, but depends from where it comes. That kid, he has a backup, or he doesn't have a backup.
Even if we
didn't have a
backup,
backup.
I have seen, Vaibhav, to contradict to this, I have seen like, we had like 100 plus interns applying, which we could only take 8 or something. And nobody expects a pay. They just want exposure. So that also is there. So they want to like make they're coming from where all, and then in Bombay, like a place, they are finding accommodation.
Yeah, you'll find mix of this.
But you see the same, which was 10 years back, and now
I think
same
more
into
people are coming.
the enthusiasm and the working culture. What difference do you see 10 years back?
I am
and now?
finding youngsters
Much better.
I mean, maybe, I don't know, because I've become a chief fanboy in my
No,
studio.
I also
like I'm just
feel the same way.
admiring what they're coming up with.
I
So
believe that.
I really am in awe with what they're doing.
I
So,
I've been
absolutely
lucky.
agree.
too much to learn.
They come up with so good ideas.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. So our average age group in our studio is like 25, or maybe that. I mean, I at the mean age, little bigger because I'm there. But otherwise, it's very young, and they're too charged up.
No, but my experience has also been like these guys, they're extremely dedicated, and I've been very lucky to have a team.
I think it's a
who
luck
is working
thing
with
also.
me. Luck
We are
team
very
also.
fortunate.
I think we're able to choose the right people because
Yeah.
I think even if there are girls, boys, they are dedicated and they're there. And I also give them freedom, like whenever you don't want,
Dependency,
don't come, but
I'm
otherwise,
always
when
finding them
it's-
better than me. That's the.
Yeah, all are good.
Yeah, exactly.
They are better
They're
than
better
us.
than
Same,
me.
everybody
Yeah.
has
I mean,
their
also
way.
they have their boundaries marked, which we also should have had.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah.
it wouldn't have become
So many things.
so exploitative. I mean, nobody respects your time. Nobody respects how much time you need to pull off something. I mean, they have that. I mean, I think they voice it.
Correct.
I quite admire that.
At this point, last question: what advice would you give young aspiring storytellers looking to make their mark? So, what sort of message and
Do they
how
need
can they
our
face the
message?
challenges in an industry like this,
I
which
think they're
is
smart enough. I
ever-changing?
think all these guys now very
They don't
smart.
need
They
any
understand
guidance,
what
I
they
think.
want.
Because I get so many
Watch
scripts.
more Insta.
Trust
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
I get so many scripts.
Yeah.
And they're so out of the thing. You know, I have not thought how they're writing it actually.
Right.
And then it comes back to a film. I see even better. What was in the script, even better they have
But you
shot
know,
it.
I have an answer for this, which I tell everybody, is that I think the younger lot needs to observe more. Like what you say, like what Sanu does and what you do. Like just go out there and observe the surroundings around you, and use those experiences in the cut that you make or the film that you make. I think that kind of gets missing somewhere.
For
Yeah,
that,
I
they have
think
to get
that's
out of
also
the
with
phone.
probably the screen.
Obviously, that
Yeah.
comes with the screen, but I think just also editing and everything has a lot to do with reactions, right?
Yeah,
I mean, if you do not know how people are
Timing
going
and, yeah.
timing and all that. So if you don't know what's happening around you, it's bound to show or not show.
I think that probably is a great advice. You know, that be more aware
Observant.
of
Yeah, observant.
Right now they are not observant. They just want to attack and
But they
run
have a
fast.
good grasping power.
Yeah, very smart.
Very good
Oh,
grasping power.
The
Because
technology
we
is changing.
took so
no?
much time.
Correct,
They are
because
quick at
they're
it.
watching
That is
things
it.
which are so
So fast.
Yeah.
They can get details out of it, and
We had to observe for 10 hours. They can do in 1 hour. You know?
absolutely.
Not that she's an editor, but if I ever work at home and my daughter crosses, she's like, previous one was better.
Oh, yeah.
Son also.
You see that?
Yeah, they say that. And then, no,
That
it's
happens.
just too over the top, that previous. Like,
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like anyone's taught her, but
Correct.
just from
Instinct
she's being
and-
very
yeah.
blunt about it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
An agency running at home. Yeah.
I mean, one line advice if you want to give as a formality.
There's no one-line advice. Like even in the office where I'm working, you see. I mean, it's a very cliche thing to say, but if you really love what you do, one can see the effort that goes in.
Yeah.
I see when I'm almost the last one to leave the office sometimes, and I see one guy. He's an intern. He's an art guy. Everyone's gone. He's sitting there. Not that he's got a workload, but he's discovering stuff, and that just shows. And I don't know his name, so one day I crossed and I said, we introduced each other, and so I seen him, right? The next time, if we have something else, if we have another film or anything to do and we need an intern or an art person, he's not gone off my mind. We see it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's just love what you do, and then it shows if you're putting, the miles and the hard work. It just comes out very beautifully. Yeah.
I think it was the same line actually. There are some people who try to show you that they're working,
Yeah.
and you come to know who's there honest at their work.
No, I remember when I was assisting Sally that, everybody would leave the studio and I used to sit back just opening up his timeline to see how he's
How he's
cut.
gone about
That's
it.
a study in itself to see when you open up the timeline to see what decisions have gone
made,
on.
The
when
process
they did.
is when we started in the garage, you don't know new clients, you're nervous, and then there's that book which Outliers, I think it's what it's called, right? You cross that 10,000 hours of just doing what you're doing.
Same thing. Yeah.
I don't perhaps get to sit on the machine too much anymore, but the moment I don't know how to explain it, but the moment I sit on the machine, it's on a keyboard, and if I'm putting 3-4 shots together, it's just instant therapy.
Wow.
It's just I just love it. It becomes a little bit of a
World it just envelops around
Yeah.
you.
I'm sure we all
Yeah.
feel that way. It's just there's no way to explain that.
True.
And I think that will come to all of them who are starting off. It will come, and that switch is a little bit of a 360 sometimes. I feel
Correct.
it's just suddenly it occurs to you that you are not worried about those external things. Ye kya sochega? What about him? You've done your cut. You don't like it. Fine. What do you want? Okay, so we'll do that. But I know what I had done was better. Or oh no, this is nicer. So you learn from it. You move on. It's just
correct.
Yeah. So
I think what I would like to say is like maybe if I want to advise somebody or maybe I want to advise myself 20 years before, I'd probably say like take 1 or 2 skills, try and master it. Something that can help you put forward your story or narrate your story. So at least couple of 1 or 2 skills you have to master. Either it may be a AI thing or a software or you do a storyboard, but one skill you need to carry with you which keeps you confident that you can narrate your idea through that skill. And also something that I probably did not take it properly in the beginning is try to handle criticism with grace.
We are champs.
Yeah. So as an artist, you always want to protect your work, but then if you are open to criticism, I think that's the best way to learn.
But we still take it.
Yeah, we still take it. That's why you are here, because you could take it well. You are still here.
No, still I'm saying
Still
not
taking.
initial. Still,
Yeah,
still,
still.
presently, still taking people bitching about you and saying that how bad
Taking
you
it
are.
properly is something that if you could embed that as a habit to take the criticism and note it down and then try to improve. I think that's one advice.
And to combine what he's saying and Jayant is saying, Jayant is right. If you see these reels these days, in fact, a director friend, he showed me someone, a boy, I don't know who it was, showed me a small reel, slickly shot, slickly edited, great music sense, with the right kind of font, and the graphics going along to package it as one person doing it. Okay, wow. And it's gonna be a world of generalists.
Yeah.
So even now, when people employ, artists into the studio, they ask for, okay, you know editing, but do you know After Effects and do you know Illustrator? Yeah. Because we may need to do this. It's becoming, and now with Resolve coming in, you can pretty much sit at home and just finish a film, even and earn that. Okay, editing, grading. I'm gonna do sample music, etc., etc., and packaging. Okay, all of that. Roto, you want to do VFX, all sitting inside. Yeah. I know what it means for studios, but then that's gonna happen sooner or later. But people are doing it. Correct. The kids are doing it.
And they're doing nicely.
Doing it very well.
Really well.
Yeah. Abhro, anything?
I don't have any message.
He's a young
Work
man.
hard.
I mean, fact is that they all have an iPhone or something equivalent, and essentially that's the entire toolbox that they need, and just have to start experimenting and then just finding your own voice through that.
Yeah.
Go forth and make versions. I don't know if that's even a quotation to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was wonderful to chat with all of you. I think we have exchanged a lot of ideas and the topics that we all need to, we all got enlightened. I really got enlightened by many of the ideas that you were all sharing here. I think Good Ads Matter has put together this amazing initiative to bring so many segments of the space to come together and, give their opinions, and I really want to thank them on behalf of all of us for pulling this off. It's really, really amazing. I think now Indian post-production industry can breathe easy now that the session is done. You can all go back to your dens and back dens and resume and move, start moving chucking the whole engine again. And thank you all for being here. And really wonderful to chat with you.
Thank you, Good Ads Matter.
Thank you, Good Ads Matter.
Thank you.